But we are back in the building. We got to talk about Kandi Burruss. Now, we're going to save our review for a live, but we are going to talk about what happened on Watch What Happens Live last night because your girl Kandi was asked about whether or not she saw and what she thought about Porsha's Family Matters. Then we got to talk about the tea that she revealed about Cynthia and Kenya. Oh, yes, it's about to get juicy. Okay. First things first. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell button. Join the texting community. The number is right here. I will only text you. I only typically text you when I'm letting you know something's happening. You know, like a video's dropping or something else major is happening. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get into this thing. So, you know, Kandi is on that good promotional tour promoting her new show, Kandi and the Gang. Chime down in the chat if you've seen this show, and if you like it, we'll be doing our review today at about 11 a.m. But did you like it? Did you tune in? I tuned in. Did you tune in? Anyway, she was on Watch What Happens Live, which premiered right after the show because the show came on after Salt Lake City, which was interesting to me because I would have thought that Kandi's show would have taken the lead in since she's from a more popular franchise. However, it is what it is. Anyway, Kandi was asked by two virtual audience members if she had watched Porsha's Family Matters spinoff and what she thought about Simon and Porsha's relationship and if she thought that Simon and Porsha had moved on too soon. So she says she did watch Porsha's Family Matters. She said she watched every episode. She loved it. She thought it was great TV. Then the second part of the question, she was like, does she think that Porsha moved on too fast? And she was like, she already knew she might get in trouble for this one. Okay. So she said, well, I know I like Simon, but I do think that she moved on too fast. And she also says, but, you know, you guys may recall years ago, we had gotten into the argument because I thought she had moved on too fast with Dennis. And I said I would never speak on her relationships ever again. But here we are. She's speaking on it again. And to be fair, she was asked about it. And she was asked about it on Watch What Happens Live. I mean, come on, guys. Y'all know she was going to get asked about this. It only makes sense. And she answered the question truthfully, which is what you can typically count on Kandi to do, is to answer in a very real way. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people love about Kandi, and I think that's what the network likes about her too. I mean, and sometimes being real, you might stick your foot in some mess, okay? And Don Juan was in the audience like, you know, kind of like, here you go talking about things that you should not be talking about, okay? But, you know, I was like, we had all seen Porsha post about Kandi's spinoff and supporting the show. And I was wondering to myself, you know, because, you know, Porsha quick for, I'm going to block you if you say something about me that I don't like, okay? Especially with her castmates or former castmates. But if you head on over to the Instagram, you will see that she actually posted about Kandi's show last night in support of it. Now, granted, I'm sure she posted this before that Watch What Happens Live clip aired, but at the end of the day, I think that things will be all good between these two ladies because I feel like they have just gotten to the point where, you know what, let's just build and move forward and not let anything come in between us. And I'm going to tell you guys, I love to see it. Even though Porsha's not a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise anymore, at this moment in time, at least, she still was willing to, you know, make a post about Kandi's spinoff. And I think that speaks volumes to where their relationship is at this moment. And then Kandi responded with a thank you so much. So that's something that I feel like we love to see. But, you know, we had to talk about it, okay? Let's move on, okay? Because Kandi also spoke about Kenya and Cynthia. So when asked about, you know, her thoughts on what's happened between Kenya and Cynthia after watching Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Kandi basically states this. She says, yeah, they are not in a good place. And she basically talked about what it's like being in the middle of two friends who have two very different accounts of what may have happened in their friendship. So you hear one thing from one person and you hear another thing from another person. And I think this was the moment where Don Juan kind of chimed in and was like, there you go, talking about things you're not supposed to be talking about. Because what she ended up doing was kind of spilling the tea. Now, granted, we already knew because Cynthia had already said last week on Watch What Happens Live, their friendship wasn't the same. But Kandi really elaborated and was like, "Ooh, they not in the best of places." Kandi, you have I love me. Now, Kandi, girl, you weren't supposed to be talking about that. Just letting all of us know what they're both of them talking about the other one. Got something to say about the other one and the way the other one handled the situation. Then she elaborated. She was like, and I think she said something about how she talked to Eva and how Eva was wanting to get the girls together for a little Ponderosa at her house for on a weekend and do some cooking and stuff like that, so they can maybe try to bring Cynthia and Kenya back together. Man, let me tell you something. I'm kind of mad that Cynthia is not on Real Housewives of Atlanta because I feel like that's a discussion that we need to be treated to. You know what I'm saying? And even Andy was like, "Oh, well, call me when y'all decide to have that conversation so I can send the camera crew down there." And then it got me to thinking, and I know this is probably not I'm thinking, and hear me out, y'all. Hear me out. Hear me out when I say this. Y'all know how they be having the conversations on the Zeus network. It would be nice or interesting to see a conversation like Ponderosa, and that's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it on when it's on another network. We'll call it the Ponderosa, okay? A la Jackie Christie. We're gonna call it the Ponderosa, where you get two former people from the Bravo universe, okay? And then you make them sit down and have themselves a little conversation to try to resolve their issues. You know what I'm saying? Or just send them down to we can't send Kenya down to the Zeus because she's still on Bravo. So, I mean, she can't, I'm sure she can't do nothing with that network. But I just feel like we definitely need to see that. Even if Cynthia had to make a little pit stop back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Andy, throw her some coin or something like that. Throw her a little checky check and then allow us to see that conversation happen, because I feel like we, the fans, need a follow-up from that, because Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip was a trip, man. And it was really an interesting look at the nuances of Kenya and Cynthia's friendship and how that situation just seemed to break down in a very real way. So Kandi and Eva, if y'all decide to have that little Ponderosa, call Andy and make sure he got the film crew down to Atlanta when it happens, okay? Now, anyway, that's all the news we got for y'all for right now. I'm about to try to go get my workout on before we do this recap for Kandi and the gang. And make sure y'all stay locked onto the channel, hit that notification bell button, and I'm going to catch you in the next video.